Okay, so today is a recipe day, and I just want to tell you right off the top that it is not a requirement that you put in all of the weird things that I put in to this beer soap. You don't have to do this. It's not, I'm giving you a recipe, but I'm also playing with some really weird stuff in addition. And I'm going to tell you all about that really weird stuff in just a minute. But before I do, hello, I am Mrs. Soap and Clay. Let's make stuff. How's it going, sudsers? Welcome back to the channel. You are at Soap and Clay, where we make all the soapy things, and you are here for day 39 of 365 days of soap, year 2. And yeah, it's another recipe day, and we are making a beer soap. Now, I've made a multitude of beer soaps on the channel up to this point, for sure, but I've never actually really dialed in the actual, like, these are the oils that you should use, and let's, do the beer the right way. What types of beer, all of the jazz. Haven't done that before, so we're going to do it that way today, for sure. But I'm also adding in some very interesting, let's call them, well, additives, in addition to the stock standard recipe that I'm going to give you. Now, the reason I'm doing this is because Mr. Soap and Clay and my brother, who needs a, he needs a little moniker name. He needs a little pseudo name. What do we call him? I don't know, we'll work on it. Actually, they started a beer business, and so they are making beers. And they were making beers at the house, and they had this cool stuff, like the hops, like the detritus of the batch, like the hops, the sludge at the bottom, and like the grains that were all the things. And I went, I'm gonna put those in my next beer soap. That would be cool. And so, that's what we're doing today. Again, you do not have to do this. I've just never done it, and I wanted to see what would happen. So, let's go to the video and see what happens. Oh my God, birds chirping everywhere. Like I live in the wilderness or something. I don't. I mean, I kind of do. Anyway, we are doing a beer soap today, guys. Now, for beer soaps, the common knowledge, the common recommendation is to take it, let it go flat, boil it, then freeze it, then use it. And so I'm going to do that. Here's the recipe. 60% coconut oil, 30% olive oil, or pomace, doesn't matter for this. 10% avocado oil, 5.9 ounces of lye, 14.4 ounces of water for this particular batch, which makes 12 bars. Now here's where things get weird. So this is not necessary. The additives that I put on that screenshot before, just go back and pause it and write it down, do things. I didn't include this. These are the grains from the beer. Now here's why I'm doing this. Because Mr. Soap and Clay and my brother, who needs a name, they're starting a beer company. And it's a really cool idea. And I really want to tell you about it, but at the same time, I low-key don't want to tell you about it because I don't want anyone to steal the idea. But also, you can't really steal the idea because it's already like, my brother's on top of it. He's already figured it all out. Anyway, so we were brewing beer. And we had like hops and grains and stuff left over. And I'm like, I want to play with that in soap. So I took those grains and I ran them through my food processor. Actually, I ran them through my coffee grinder, more specifically, to get them into a finer consistency to put in for like an exfoliation thing, right? But you super don't have to do that. Also, you super don't have to do this. Now, I have done beer recipes with you before, and I usually just pour it in to the thing and then put the lye inside of it. And yeah, it gets a little hot. Sometimes it can bubble up, but if your container's big enough, you don't have to worry about it. I never let it go flat. I never boil it. I don't understand making it go flat and boiling it. Just boil it if you're going to do that. But I did all of those things. Let it go flat. Then I boiled it. Then I froze it. And look at how long it's taking to actually melt down the cubes. Now, lye and a liquid, this is an exothermic reaction, right? So lye, once it comes in contact with the liquid, a water-based liquid, usually, because I mean beer, water, all the things, right? Yes. It causes an exothermic reaction, so things heat up. That's what that means. And with this, the lye is not really melting these cubes. Like I had to move to a whisk to start really breaking them down. I'm having to really get in there and start breaking down the ice cubes. Now, people who make these types of soaps, they say that's a good thing because that means that you're controlling the heat, and so you're not going to scorch the lye solution because you have like sugars and stuff within, beer or wine or milk or what have you. And so yeah, freeze it. Totally do that thing. You can do. But look, I am still messing with this and the ice cubes are still not melted. But for if this is your first beer soap, do that. That's fine, I guess. I don't do it for this reason alone because it takes so long to melt down these stupid ass ice cubes. And it's irritating, but also one of the more irritating parts is there are clumps of undissolved lye in here. Like undissolved lye. Clumps. And I don't like that. That's annoying. Will it be fine? Yeah, I mean, it will. It'll be fine. Like, you take your stick blender to it and it'll likely break up that lye clump, or you keep doing this and then you're insured to break up that lye clump. But the lye clump in and of itself is huge. So, like, I would recommend if you insist on doing the ice cube version, do like half ice cubes and half not, because look at the size of that lye clump. That is ridiculous. Now it's gone. But yeah, no, that is a huge pain. And nobody needs that kind of pain just to prepare their lye solution. Okay? Does that make sense? And as a result, like it is like 63 degrees. That solution is cold, and like ready to soap with. So, let's go soap it. Okay, and now on to the pour. And while we are doing this, I am going to go ahead and strain my lye solution just in case any of that lye, those chunks of lye ended up not fully broken down, but I didn't do too bad. Okay, cool. Love it. Now, while we are making this, let's go ahead and talk about beer and why you would put beer into a soap anyway. Now, this is you and me here. We're talking. We're in our safe space. I am not recommending that you go off on your website, which you need. Stop selling on Etsy, okay? And claiming all of these benefits of soap. Although, in the United States, you technically can claim that because, yes, if it's a soap, you can't claim anything for sure, and it's regulated by the CPSC. And if it's a cosmetic, it's regulated by the FDA. But per the FDA, you don't have to do anything to license your soaps or test your soaps or anything, your soaps, if you're starting to make claims. Now, if you live in the UK or in Europe or in all kinds of things, you have to like register every batch of soap, to my knowledge. And also all of the cosmetic claims have to be tested. Okay. I have a whole last video about that and what that all means, what you can and cannot say coming up. I'm actually talking with congressional members of things right now. It's crazy. It's wild. It's such a fun time for sure. But anyway, for this, let's talk about why you would want to put beer in soaps. Well, beer is antibacterial. Again, I'm not saying go off and say this. on your pages. You do you. I'm just saying these are the benefits of beer. Okay? Antibacterial, for sure. Weirdly detoxifying, which is funny, right? Beer is detoxifying, like beer soap is detoxifying. Yes. Lots of vitamins, very vitamin rich. So if you are like using it for like a shampoo bar and you don't want to do like a Syndet bar, dude, yes, go. Do that for sure. Beer is a great addition for shampoo bars. I think I've done at least one shampoo bar recipe with beer in it. What else? It helps with acne and eczema and all these things. Again, I am not telling you go off and tell people that at a farmer's market. I'm just telling you that these are things that, beer imparts into the soap thing, and you can decide whether or not you say that as you will. I'm going to be the good influence and say, you know what? Just say that soap cleans. But this is how beer changes a soap recipe. Got it? Making sense? Cool. So I put about 3 tablespoons of the broken down grains in this. And it's going to be kind of an exfoliant, right? Now, to that, I also do need to apologize because way back, many, many moons ago, almost a full last year ago, I did this video about this FAQ about vegan soaps or whatever. And I'm like, yeah, I mean, my soaps are vegan. And then several months later, a Sudzer commented in the comments and like says something about, what about beer? And I'm like, oh shit. Yeah, no, that's vegan. I'm sorry. It is vegan, but gluten-free. That was the thing I was talking about. And again, the Sudzer commented and was like, well, what about beer? Yeah, no, not gluten-free. I proceeded to do all of these tests. And like, you know how you just like, sometimes you get things wrong? Well, I did that thing. I got that thing wrong. And because it honestly never occurred to me that the gluten would actually survive the saponification. And so I proceeded to do a number of tests, and they all came back sort of inconclusive, right? So if you want to put beer soap in your line, I think it's best to say that it does contain gluten. Especially if you're putting the grains with which you use to make the beer in it, it's definitely containing gluten. Now, as far as what survives saponification, as I said, inconclusive. I did like 3 months worth of tests, and if I'm going to come back with something inconclusive, I'm just going to go ahead and say, yeah, no, there's gluten. Let's go with there's gluten in beer soaps. And like an idiot, beer is made out of grain. I didn't know that. I mean, I don't drink beer, so I guess, whatever. Okay, so we've talked about the benefits of beer in soap, and again, soap is meant to clean. It's a rinse-off product, all of the jazz, but also using it as like a face soap or a hair soap. Hey, it's good. It's a good call for sure. Love it. And we've talked about whether or not gluten. Go ahead and it has gluten. And Mrs. Soap and Clay forgot about grains in beer. I'm an idiot. Yeah. So yeah, totally. And especially considering this, like all of the actual grains that were used to make the soap or the beer. Yeah, it's in the soap. So yeah, we're going to go with some gluten. And those bars are delightful. It's interesting, isn't it, how white we can get the top. And that's because of the high concentration of coconut oil, or other light oils in it, right? It's just very easy to get a really white top through saponification because of the lightness of the oils. But this grain thing, that was a new one. I also wanted to do the hops, but the hops didn't dry out in time to do this. So I think I will try the hops, like the sludge at the bottom of the vat when you're making beer. I don't know. My brother tried telling me all about this stuff, and I learned a lot. And, Mr. Soap and Clay is like, so you guys are perfectly primed for this because you're a chemist and he's into this. And so you guys can totally do this. And I'm like, I've got a lot going on. So you guys do the thing. And also, this was cut 12 hours after it was poured. And I'm not mad at that lather. That's real nice. And the feeling of the exfoliation on the hands, it's slippery. But the grains in there, super nice exfoliation. But that's the lather 12 hours after cut. So the lather only continues to stabilize from this point on, and it becomes, a slightly milder bar with that weird concept that we call cure. But try this recipe. It's a really easy one and a fun one. That is day 39. It blows my mind how many things you can put into soap. Like, it's wild. People come up with all kinds of crazy things to put into soap. So a lot of things I haven't tried, like the snake skin, like the actual skin of a snake. No. Breast milk, I've done it, but not for like selling, because no. What else? Oh, somebody asked about putting eggs in soap. So I actually think I might try that one. That one would be really weird. It's not going to be a vegan bar, obviously, but I am kind of interested in that one. But I've never done this, and it was cool. It was a good time, for sure. It was definitely an experiment, and I love them, for sure. If you are interested in any of my beer soaps, you can totally find them at soapandclay.com. If you are interested in making this recipe and then letting me know how it goes, drop a comment below, and that would be cool. I would like to engage with you in your soaping journey. I hope you guys like the recipe. If you would like more recipes and more experiments and more craziness, subscribe to the channel. We do this every day, so you could come be a part of the Sudser family. For those of you who are a part of the Sudser family, hey, thanks for being here every day. I really appreciate you. I'm out of here for today. I will see you guys all again tomorrow for another round of soapy fun. Bye.